From a literal trip to hell to Deadpool screaming in your face in VR, here are 15 brand new games revealed at Gamescom 2025 that you need to know about. Starting off at number 15, we've got LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. And honestly, it might be the boldest LEGO game yet. You're not just collecting studs and breaking furniture anymore. This time, it's an open-world Gotham City, fully explorable, with different eras of Batman folded in. One moment, you're in the 60s cruising in the classic Batmobile. Next, you're face-to-face with a villain from a 1990s deep-cut comic nobody remembers. And that's kind of the point. They're not playing it safe with just Joker and Riddler again. They're digging through decades of lore. It almost feels like a love letter to Batman first and a LEGO game second. The footage so far hints at combat and movement that's leaning into Arkham territory, which is wild for a LEGO title. It's coming in 2026, which feels right. This looks like a big swing, and if they're taking Batman seriously while still letting you laugh at how his cowl pops off when he gets punched, I'm in. At number 14, Road Kings, and this is for all the simulation fans out there. It's from the team behind SnowRunner and MudRunner, and it's another trucking simulator. But this one looks more adventure-focused. You're a freelance trucker dealing with weather, rough terrain, and apparently some kind of story. These games have a dedicated fan base, and every time they try something new with the formula, people pay attention. Road Kings could be the next big thing in this genre, or it could just be more of the same. We'll see. Moving to number 13, Cinder City. It's a new sci-fi multiplayer shooter from NCSoft. And if you've been paying attention to this genre over the past few years, you probably already know what that looks like. You've got soldiers with special abilities, advanced robots, quick movement, and a bunch of vehicles everywhere. There's grappling hooks, motorcycles, helicopters, tanks, even airstrikes. The lighting's super flashy and the action never really stops. It kind of feels like they threw together bits of every modern shooter into one big mix. It is scheduled to be released in the second half of 2026 for PC and consoles. Next, at number 12, Project Spectrum. It's a new shooter from the Delta Force developers, but instead of sticking to the usual military route, they're going in a completely different direction. You're dropped into these creepy, haunted environments as part of a squad, and yeah, you're still fighting other players, but the world itself is also out to get you. One of the characters can literally control the paranormal, so while you're keeping an eye out for other squads, you might suddenly notice the walls shifting, lights flickering, or rooms changing shape. It's not just a visual effect, it actually affects how you play. The trailer really leaned into the atmosphere. Abandoned buildings, that constant feeling of tension, just enough dread to keep you on edge. But it still looked like a proper shooter. Just one with a psychological twist. Now it's from a studio that usually does free-to-play stuff, so there'll probably be battle passes, cosmetics, the usual. But if the gameplay feels good and the horror actually lands, this could end up standing out. At number 11, World of Warcraft Midnight, and listen, I don't even play WoW anymore, but I still watch these cinematics. Blizzard just knows how to make trailers. The animation is gorgeous, the music swells at just the right moments, and somehow, even if you don't know who's fighting who or why, you still feel it. Midnight is the 11th expansion, which is just nuts when you think about how long this game's been running. It's coming in 2026. Blizzard has set a deadline of June 30th, 2026. That said, some leaks and data mining suggest it could come out earlier, possibly February 26th, 2026. I don't know if I'll play it. I don't know if anyone who quit WoW ever really comes back for good. But the trailers, I'll be there for every single one. Next at number 10, World of Tanks Heat. And this one's weird because it's both an update and kind of its own thing. World of Tanks has been around forever, and it's always been this slower tactical vehicle shooter. Heat is the opposite. It's fast, it's bright, and way more arcade style than the main game. They're also working on World of Tanks 2.0, which sounds like a full overhaul of the base game. So there's a lot happening in this franchise right now. I'm not the target audience for this. But if you like tank games, if you've been playing World of Tanks for years, this is probably a big deal. Moving to number 9, Onimusha Way of the Sword. And I've been waiting for more details on this one. The trailer showed more gameplay, new enemies, and they're bringing back those creepy demon designs that made the old Onimusha games so memorable. That's what I wanted to see. Onimusha was always about the atmosphere. The combat was cool, but it was the vibe that made those games special. Dark, oppressive, these horrifying creatures everywhere. If they can capture that again, this could be exactly what fans have been asking for. Still no release date, which is frustrating, but every time they show something new, it looks better. At number 8, Deadpool VR. It's dropping November 18th, and it's exactly what you'd expect. You're Deadpool, you're in VR, and you're cracking one-liners while shooting and probably breakdancing on someone's corpse. And like most VR games, this is going to land in one of two camps, either genuinely fun and chaotic in the best way, or a painfully gimmicky mess that gets old after 15 minutes. There's rarely a middle ground. If you've got a headset and a high tolerance for fourth wall breaking nonsense, this could be worth checking out. If not, don't worry, the world will keep spinning and so will Deadpool, probably while dual-wielding katanas in slow motion. At number 7, Cult of the Lamb, Woolhaven. And if you haven't played Cult of the Lamb yet, this might be the perfect excuse to finally check it out. It's one of those games that slipped under the radar for a lot of people, but once it grabs you, it doesn't let go. Cute animals, dark rituals, dungeon crawling, cult management. It's a bizarre mix, and it works way better than it should. One minute you're sacrificing a follower for power, the next you're decorating their grave with adorable flowers. It's weird but great. The new expansion's called Woolhaven. I don't care what it adds, I'm just glad there's more. Supposedly, it's got new combat stuff, more followers, whatever. And with a 2026 release, there's time to build the hype or your cult all over again. Whether you missed it the first time or just want a reason to return, Woolhaven looks like the perfect excuse. At number 6, The Outer Worlds 2, and we finally got a release date. October 29th. The first game felt like Obsidian saying, if Bethesda's not going to make another New Vegas, we'll just do it ourselves. And for the most part, it worked. It wasn't groundbreaking, but it had charm, smart writing, solid world building, and that classic Obsidian flavor where your choices actually mattered. Now the sequel looks like it's aiming to build on all of that. Bigger scale, tighter pacing hopefully, and a more polished overall experience. The tone still has that sarcastic, but the world feels more fleshed out this time. If you're a New Vegas fan or just miss RPGs that don't hold your hand, The Outer Worlds 2 is probably already circled on your calendar. And if not, October might be the right time to jump in. Next, at number 5, Moonlighter 2. It was supposed to hit early access on October 23rd, but it's now been delayed to November 19th. The first Moonlighter was a charming indie game where you run a shop by day and explore dungeons by night. The sequel looks like it's expanding on everything. More dungeons, deeper shop management, better combat. Early access means it's not done yet, but if you loved the first one, this is worth watching. Next at number 4, Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 4, and this could be huge for strategy fans. Dawn of War 3 was divisive. Some people loved it, some people hated it, and it's been sitting at mixed on Steam ever since, which says a lot. But Dawn of War 4? This is a fresh shot at redemption. The Warhammer 40k universe is practically made for RTS games. Massive armies, brutal factions, and lore so deep it makes most sci-fi look like a pamphlet. If they can recapture the tactical focus and squad-based intensity that made Dawn of War 2 a classic and avoid the missteps of 3, this could be huge. It's coming in 2026, which hopefully gives them enough time to get it right. At number 3, we have La Divina Commedia. It comes from the Italian studio Gema Games, who you might remember for their Souls-like from last year, Nara's Last Song, or Notre Last Song. That game had its flaws. Sure, it was a bit rough around the edges, but it also showed flashes of creativity. Now, the studio is back with something much more ambitious. They're making a game based on Dante's Divine Comedy, like the actual 14th century poem about going through hell, purgatory, and paradise. That's the setup. The trailer they showed, it looked like gameplay, but I'm not totally convinced. Everything felt a little too cinematic, a little too perfect. Could be actual combat footage or maybe heavily staged. Hard to tell with these reveal trailers anymore. But the concept is solid. Taking one of the most famous pieces of literature ever written and turning it into a Souls-like, that works. If they can nail the atmosphere and actually deliver on the gameplay, this could be something special. At number 2, Resident Evil 9 Requiem. Capcom's keeping this one really quiet. The trailer didn't show much. You play as Grace Ashcroft, who might be daughter to Alyssa from the older games. It's in first person. You're running through somewhere creepy, something bad happens, and that's basically it. They're clearly going for slow burn marketing here, drip feeding little bits of info and letting fans come up with their own theories. It's kind of fun, but also kind of annoying when you just want to know what the game actually is. There was a demo behind closed doors at Gamescom, so hopefully more stuff leaks out soon. But for now, it's all mystery, all build-up, and not a lot to go on. And finally, at number 1, Valor Mortis. And this one's from the One More Level, the same who developed Ghost Runner. They're calling it a first-person action Souls-like, which is kind of a weird mix, but it makes sense when you see it. The combat looks fast, there are supernatural powers, and it's set in this creepy Napoleonic-era world. Honestly, I haven't seen anything quite like it. It reminded me a bit of Hunt, Showdown, but with more fantasy stuff. It was shown during the pre-show, so it didn't get a lot of attention, but it stood out. It's coming in 2026. No idea if it'll be good, but I'm interested. Now, one bonus project which is really worth knowing is Black Myth Zhongkui. So yeah, Game Science is doing another one. This time not Wukong, but Zhongkui, the Ghost Hunter. The trailer was all cinematic, so we didn't see actual gameplay, but the concept is cool. Big monsters, supernatural powers, another dive into Chinese mythology that Western games rarely touch. It's probably early in development, so don't expect this anytime soon. But if they bring even half the quality they showed in Wukong, this could end up being something really special.